So my question for the entire Web3 community is, if you truly believe in decentralization, how can you take this technology and create a business model that has unique advantages and more revenue, unique revenue streams that you cannot do with non-NFT, non-blockchain?
In today's episode, our featured project is the Vera Network. In a simplistic overview, Vera is a decentralized financial platform built on the Polkadot Network, which allows users and content creators on any NFT marketplace to generate new revenue streams by offering the opportunity to lend out or lease NFTs. This is a powerful concept with immense implied potential, which is why to further elaborate on the idea and its potential applications, we brought on the CEO and founder of Vera Labs, the firm building Vera Network, to help us understand the ideas behind a NFT DeFi network and why this matters for the blockchain community, especially to Play to Earn and Metaverse supporters. Hey crypto enthusiasts, welcome back to the Altcoin News Podcast. For each and every one of you tuning in, your support is our motivation to keep featuring amazing and potentially disruptive projects. So be sure to like and subscribe if you find this video useful. This podcast series is meant to enlighten you with insider knowledge and expert opinion from professionals and blockchain pioneers. Before we get in, I do have to point out our disclaimer. All information presented in this series is meant for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence if you plan on moving your capital into any of the projects that we cover. Your money shouldn't be dictated by anyone ever. With that out of the way, please enjoy our podcast. Hey Dennis, I've been really looking forward to this. So why don't we kick off our session with a brief overview of your story, your background, and how did you get into blockchain?
Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to share my story to yourself and your listeners. So I'm originally born and raised here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and my background is in engineering. I went to University of California, Berkeley, did biotechnology and studied computers and technology. So after graduation, my career path actually changed significantly. I mean, I used to be pre-med, maybe a doctor, just like many others, pick one of the typical career jobs. But I decided to not go down the path and get into the startup world. So back then, in early 2000s, .com collapsed. So anybody that do startups, they basically just had a passion. It's not really for the money because the market wasn't good. I joined different startup teams at that time. I've been on founding teams that grew very big companies from $0 to $100 million in a year. I've been on startups companies that failed, like the company ran out of money and then it closed down. So I've seen a lot of different things at a young age. And I've been since then a quite entrepreneurial person. My career specialty, if you were to give it an area, is known as full stack product engineer. And what I do is I basically work with highly technical people, engineers, to help them take complex technologies and create real world products with adoption, right? And that means you also need a strong understanding of the business side, your clients, your customers, what customers want. I'm kind of that bridge in the middle. With that said, I worked in many different types of businesses. For example, one of my past companies I've been involved with outside of crypto and is in the telehealth field, right? So during COVID, for example, a lot of people don't want to go out and see doctors. So, we allow them to, like Uber, matchmake with a doctor and get their medicine that way. That company, with a team of a couple people in 1 year and no venture funding, we're able to scale it from like 0 to 2 million per month in revenue, right? So it's pretty exciting, right? With technology, you can do a lot of things, change the world. But how did I get in crypto? Why am I doing Vera? Well, I got into crypto in 2017, completely by accident, actually. From that point on, I actually wore many hats in the crypto world, ranging from founder to advisor to investor. From a founder point of view, an advisor point of view, how I got involved was one of my clients at that time wanted to develop a product related to supply chain track and trace, and they want to see if blockchain can be part of it. So we work a lot on the IoT, the sensors, those kind of things. And with that experience, I ended up attending almost so many events and conferences back in 2017, where then you meet a lot of types of people, blockchain people, crypto people, and understand the depth and excitement in this industry. And back then, if you remember, there was a big bull run, right? So there's definitely a lot of excited people. From that point moving forward, I started a startup around 2000, late 2017, 18, which basically was a consulting and software development firm for enterprise blockchain. So in that's because I had developed a lot of client relationships on how to use blockchain to build certain products. So we had clients ranging from like Daikin, one of the #1 IoT and air conditioner companies in the world. We built some blockchain POC for them. That's also the time I worked with my co-founder, Michael. Vera. We together have been in the blockchain full time for like almost like 5-6 years now. And we had clients like Dapper Labs. That's like a big NFT company. So they had developed a lot of the projects. So for example, recently, one of the projects we built related to that and the flow is Anthony Hopkins. He's the first Hollywood Oscar award-winning movie actor. He's launching a movie. It's the first Hollywood movie to NFT. And well, our engineering team basically built that NFT platform for them. Okay, so we built the blockchain for BitRail, for the #4 bank in the world called Northern Trust, and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of experience building blockchain-related projects for the real-world company. But the biggest problem I've identified is, I'm very passionate in the crypto D space. And the motivation for that is because if you live here in the United States and you're always seeing what's happening, more and more, and I think this may be true for other countries, more and more the big technology companies and even the government have more and more control over our lives, right? They tell us what we can do, we can't do, even if it's completely legal. If they don't like your thinking or whatnot, they can deplatform you on the platform. They can cancel your credit card account. They can cancel your YouTube account, demonetize you. And a lot of the folks like myself and Michael and my friends that grew up in Silicon Valley, we love internet because it creates freedom of flowing ideas. We see that more and more being censored. And the only things that are not censored are these maybe TikTok videos where you see people acting crazy and whatnot, right? So I think, obviously I don't have answers to everything, but I believe that technology should promote innovation. It should not be used to make people fearful of the future or what not to do. And especially when it comes to business services, there are things like financial services. It should be more decentralized. Like if you depend on financial services to survive, you're basically depending that the bank will continue to give you these services. Just like if you are in a drop shipping business and you have to sell things, your livelihood and your business depends on Amazon. Even though it's your business, you create the product, but you depend on Amazon because without them, here in the United States, it's very hard for you to get a customer to do all those delivery and everything on your own. So we see so much where big tech, big institutions, platforms, individuals are more and more dependent on them, where the value created a lot of times, especially if you're a creator, is the individual. In addition, they take all of your data and they basically make a lot of money off your data too, right? For advertising, those kind of things. So we decided, what can we do to take all our experience working for these big tech, big companies, and these are multi-billion dollar companies, and be able to benefit everyday people, right? That's actually how the idea of Vera was born. And, and we saw that NFT was an excellent opportunity to implement ideas, because back then when we worked on blockchain, we worked on a lot of DLT projects. We realized there's really a lot of no need for big companies to use public blockchain, right? They don't want their data to be public. But NFT use case, it makes sense on why you would use a public blockchain, right? You don't do it on Hyperledger or whatnot, because it's like a registry. You want the public to check that registry to see if something is real or not real, who owns it, whatever you're trying to look up, right? That's the definition of NFT. So because there is a viable use case for public blockchain and decentralization, we felt that this is the holy grail for Web 3.0, right? We saw, even though I know right now most of the excitement is about gaming and art and those things, this is just low-hanging fruit. It's the beginning. We strongly believe NFT, that technology, which is of course backed by blockchain and DLT, is the next trillion-dollar industry that after cryptocurrencies. And it can even be bigger than cryptocurrency over time, because NFTs represent assets that already have value in the real world. Whereas cryptocurrency some people can argue has no value and is highly volatile based on emotions and market sentiment. Whereas assets in the real world have existing value based on economics and supply and demand. NFT is just a technology that allows the ownership and various information attributes about those to be digitized, right? And so you can do business and financial transactions more efficiently. So the financialization of NFTs, we believe, is the next holy grail, next step in this evolution. And Vera wants to be the market leader to provide the essential financial products and services to make that happen. So there you go. You have my story, my background, how I got into Vera, a little bit on what motivates me.
As a podcast host, I've had the pleasure to speak with amazing individuals with pioneering mindsets such as yourself, and learning so much in the process, especially regarding to NFTs. I genuinely admire what you and your team at Vera is doing. So perhaps tell our audience a bit more about the core services provided by Vera Network and the specific problems that Vera is solving.
Sure. So Vera is building the most powerful open financial platform for specifically NFTs, which is a new asset class. We take essential financial services for granted in the real world. If you were to build a traditional application, you should not need to build PayPal or a bank. If you're building a D-app, a game, a blockchain game, metaverse, you should not need to build your own financial services or decentralized bank. That's what Vera comes in. We call our products or services superpowers, right? We give NFT applications superpowers. And right now we're building 4 products. And they are, number 1, funds, number 2, rent, number 3, lend, and number 4, verify. So I can go through one-on-one and kind of give a quick overview how it works. So finance, for example. All right, you go buy an NFT right now in a game, on Axie, on C, you basically have to pay for whatever the cost. If it's 1 ETH, you pay 1 ETH. There's no such thing as using a credit card to buy it, or saying, hey, I want to pay multiple payments to buy it because I cannot afford one right now. Or I say, I buy it and pay it later. You can't do those things. And one of the main reasons why those types of services will never happen anytime soon without Vera is there's a lack of seller protection. So I buy an NFT from you, Peter, and I say, hey, I'm going to promise you, I'm going to pay you 3 payments. And you're like, okay, I trust you. So you give me an NFT. I could run away and you'll never get an NFT back. Just like cryptocurrency, right? No matter what type of promise you make, legal or not legal. We solved that problem with a feature called seller protection, where I buy the NFT for you, I have to keep making or whatever I agree with you. If I did not finish paying off the NFT, I cannot move or transfer the NFT out of my wallet until I finish the payment. And if I fail to make that payment, then you can actually take the NFT back, automatically claw back. So you have no risk for someone to steal your NFTs. And of course, all the money I've been paying you or the down payment, I lose that. So all of this is trustless. It's done through smart contracts, right? So it automates all these things. But yeah, that's an example of financing or building. And this is very exciting for a variety of reasons. One, I think the on-ramp to the NFT world can be a lot more simple. Right now, not everyone uses crypto. People prefer spend money on credit cards. Even on OpenSea, if you used a credit card, they're using MoonPay to help you use the credit card to buy crypto, but you're then do another step. You use the crypto to buy the NFT. What we can do with this engine is allow credit cards to directly buy the NFT. And if they do a refund or chargeback, it will undo the entire transaction. And so you don't have problems. That's a really novel innovation. And that integration with credit cards, we're right now, you could say we're patent pending. We're looking to patent that technology, which is really cool. If you want to talk about games, even though technically NFTs can represent anything, but right now a lot of it is in games, we can, right now, play to earn is really popular. We will make play to earn on steroids even bigger so people can earn more. And examples of new business use cases is something we're going to coin or call play to own. In the future, games that partner with Vera, the gamer can buy an NFT, play the game, but they don't have to pay for it in 30 days. But during the 30 days, if they do certain actions in the game, someone else is paying for the NFT, so they own it. It's free. And basically, it could be the game, it could be a partner, an advertiser, a partner, or a promoter, a celebrity, whatever it is. So do you see it can create a lot of very unique partnership opportunities where NFTs become more like a unique business model for real world adoption, right? Not just something where it's a hype, it's a fad, right? And right now, that's the problem. NFTs really can just buy or sell it. Maybe auction, but that's still buying and selling. That's it. If NFTs are limited to buy and sell use case, I don't think there's anything special NFT. You can buy and sell a hat. I can buy and sell any other merchandise, right? And if it's that special, if it's that simple, then you let the big tech companies dominate that space, right? For example, right now, Shopify is trying to make marketplace for NFT. They're a really big tech company, right? Every other company say, hey, I can help a brand do drops in NFT. But all of that is commoditizable. There's nothing special about that use case. It's just a really nice front end or certain user experiences to make the user. There's no unique business model. So my question for the entire Web3 community is, if you truly believe in decentralization, how can you take this technology and create a business model that has unique advantages and more revenue, unique revenue streams that you cannot do with non-NFT, non-blockchain? Think the new protocol, don't think what's standard, don't think service, fractionalization. These are all technical things. What is the business model you can do that non-NFT business people can understand and see clearly that I want to try this out because I can't do this without NFT. And that's what the engine, the products Vera is building enables those businesses, right? Financing, right? That's a big part. That's one product. I can go on and talk about my three others, right? But I'll let you ask, do you have any questions so far?
Absolutely. I have a question from a content creator standpoint, specifically regarding to two of the services that you mentioned, which were lending and leasing. So in my service level understanding, they will provide creators the freedom to monetize their work without going through a middleman, which in this case meaning no more Shutterstock or iStock taking a cut from the buyer and the seller. But would you please shed some light on some of the more profound implied potential of these two core services? What other use cases am I missing here?
Okay, so of course with our finance product, we want to work with every NFT company, any company that wants to mint NFTs, sell NFTs, we can allow them to accept alternate payment forms. But this is also related to, let's say, as you said, leasing or renting, I call it. Because technically, imagine you finance, I lend you money, you go buy a house, and then you rent out the house because you want to make money out of it, right? So they go hand in hand, right? Financing and renting, right? Same thing. NFT, same thing. Oh, I can afford to buy an NFT, but I want to make money with it, right? It's an asset. So that's why we have a rent problem. The problem with renting right now is, sure, you can rent my NFT, but you have to find me to want to rent. And that matchmaking may be a problem, especially if you have a small ecosystem or you're a newer ecosystem game or whatever, right? So how do we solve, this is the rental liquidity problem, right? That's really what we're solving, the problem. And the future is what we want to enable is something called NFT yield farming. Just like right now, you can stake some crypto and start making money, call it yield farming, right? Or staking. And there's different variations of LPs, liquidity pools, all that stuff, right? But taking crypto, stake it somewhere and make money. How do you do that with NFTs? Can you do it? Because every NFT is different and illiquid. The answer to that question is absolutely you can. Why? Because if you look at the real world today, that's what banks do. That's what financial institutions do. Real estate, for example, every single building is different. You have tall, you have small, you have commercial, non-commercial, different locations. It's complicated. Yet they can generate liquidity, right? And there's ways to do that. In fact, we know this very well because our team has worked with these big banks and we built blockchains for them to manage all these financial products. But how do we replicate those to help everyday people in the DeFi NFT space? So that's the goal. So stake NFT, you start making money. But of course, most likely in the very beginning, these NFTs will have to have proven demand, right? They have to have a value. They may be part of the Axie ecosystem or some YGG. They're a part of ecosystem that already has a lot of users. The market's big enough to support this. And what we're excited to do is we're right now building a feature called subscription pool. So I'll give you an example to explain it. Let's say you want to play a game and it's a race car game and you want to really own the Lamborghini NFT. But it's too expensive, so you can't buy it. Well, the game can use Vera and let you rent it, but that's one car. Alternatively, imagine the game created a pool, a subscription pool. In it, the Lamborghini NFTs in it, but you can also have NFTs, cars, from many other owners put in that pool too. And you pay a little bit more subscription fee, and now you can anytime pick and choose any car in that pool and drive it and play. It's all yours, right? That creates a very unique experience for you. But from a business point of view, it's amazing because now you generate more revenue because one pool can actually have multiple customers subscribe to it. Whereas renting is one-to-one. So now I can have maybe 10 NFTs, I have 100 people subscribe to it. So it generates more revenue. And second, it can create more value than individual NFT, right? Because it creates different experiences. And lastly, it will be able to create liquidity for NFTs, right? Because you can have people staking NFTs from different games, from different networks, from different blockchains even, when we talk about cross-chain. But you put them all together in a pool and then people can enjoy them all together depending on the business use case. So that type of subscription model, and which then we pay royalties back to the individual owners, is I think one of the holy grails that NFTs can create that traditional products cannot create. And we're working very hard with our existing customers and partners to make that vision possible and test this new business use case, not just in gaming, in entertainment, in art. We have partners that are celebrities. I can go on. I mean, if you want to know more detail, I have a lot of use cases that we're actually building. So we're very excited to talk about it. So that is our second product, Rent, or you call it Lease, right?
Perhaps tell us about the roadmap ahead for Vera Labs. What are some of the major updates your team is working on, and where do you see Vera in exactly 1 year from now?
Great. Well, that's a really tricky question. So from a business point of view, we're going to be working very closely with our customers, partners, and strategic investors to implement these products, right? We actually have 2 more products I didn't have time to talk about. That's okay. But the main focus right now is these 2, finance and rent, because the market fit we discovered is amazing, meaning like 9 out of 10 customers or potential customer we talk to say, I want that feature in my game, in my product immediately, right? And so we're actually actively integrating it, and we look forward to showcase this very soon, some of these very, very soon. So in terms of 1 year from now, we will work with our strategic investors like Animoca, one of the top NFT companies in the world, multiple games and metaverses, to basically integrate financing and rent features into their game. So when their customers buy NFTs, they can do financing, buy now, pay later, play to own, pay in multiple payments. They can also rent NFTs, stuff like that, right? Second of all, in terms of support, we want to be able to support all the top NFT blockchains. So most NFTs right now are minted on Ethereum. So we're actually building Ethereum smart contracts, but we also plan to support Polygon, BSC, Solana NFTs, right? So that's another thing we want to accomplish this year. I would also say within this next upcoming year, I do want to focus mainly in the gaming world, even though I'm very excited for NFTs that are possible outside, simply because we want to prove that our technology and product can build a very, very scalable business model in a very specific industry, right? Or use case. So we're going to be more like a B2B2C company, where we're not just selling you a protocol, a service, or some research experiment on what to do with NFTs, but we want to sell you a turnkey business model where somebody, if let's say you tomorrow want to start making money with NFT and you have some unique thing that is represented by NFT, maybe it's content, maybe it's your art, whatever it is, right? You're a creator. You don't know how to code. You could use our product to basically do A to Z, from creating NFTs to selling NFTs to making sure financing, renting. We're basically your canvas to achieve all that. But our core business and our core functionality is not all these other things, right? It is specifically allowing the NFTs when you're selling to be financed and also allowing you to rent. Those are our core business models, right? And also technically verified, so that your buyers have buyer protection. So anyway, that is that. I don't know if that answers your question, or you want to know more in very specific areas, feel free to ask me about it.
Now to a serious question that investors would very much love to know more about. Obviously, this information is available on the Vera Labs main site as well as the startup listing page on gate.io, which I'll link below. But would you sum up the tokenomics and the current status of the Vera token?
Well, actually, Vera, just speaking on tokens, we actually just today, I'm in New York Blockchain Week right now at NYC. Today at 1 p.m. UTC time, we did a Polka starter IDO launch, and it was successful. We basically raised pretty close to $500,000, I believe $490,000, whatnot. There was some technical difficulty with for some reason, failing transactions on the Ethereum blockchain, and the whole whitelisting system in Polkastarter was laggy. We actually whitelisted, we had over 80,000 people fight to be on our whitelist. And out of that, 200,000 people wanting to be on participating in the IDO, but because of our legal, we had to reject so many countries, right? Like US, Canada, Japan, etc. So it became 80,000. But due to some issues with technicality and planning, and hey, I gotta admit, even monkeys fall tree, this is the first coin I ever launched. So I'm not expert, right, in how all this stuff works with launching coins. I'm very blessed to work with very knowledgeable advisors and venture funds that have supported many very strong projects. So, but anyway, we basically hit our goal. And right after, we listed successfully, not just on Uniswap, on PancakeSwap as well, which is a BSC blockchain, or BNB blockchain. On top of that, we immediately, within 30 minutes, had 2.5 million volume of transactions. On top, we launched a cross-chain bridge so that our 1 billion total supply of tokens, so you have a token that we have 1 billion tokens, can actually be swapped at any time into BSC versions, right? Just like how USDT may have Tron TRC20 and also ERC20. So now we have BSC, BP20 versions of our tokens, right? And we partner with AnySwap and ChainSwap to achieve that. So a big shout out to our partners and friends over at those amazing projects to make this work with us. And so, yeah, and all of our private sale, we raised about, I would say, over $4 million, all right, in our private pre-sales. with several top funds. Key backers are Animoca Brands, IBC Infinity Venture Crypto, which is really big in Southeast Asia, in YGG and gaming, which is our focus. SVC, which is Sky Vision Capital. I cannot disclose, but we have a very, very, very big European fund that's similar to the Sequoia level that right now we're discussing, and we're trying to finalize it. The bigger fund takes a little longer, but they express interest to be part of our rounds. So we definitely have a lot of exciting backers, but all of that, we sell about 15-16% of our tokens, right? And the amount, total supply 1 billion, amount circulation should be close to 1% initial circulation. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question on how the tokenomics or whatnot. Every single private sale investor has agreed to do a minimum 1 to 2 year lockup with Cliff before the release. And what that shows, and the valuation of the tokens, the seed round was at 18 mil, and then the next round was at 30 million, and the IDO was at 50 million, right? Our performance right now is we're around 30 cents. Last time I checked on PancakeSwap and whatnot. And that is basically like how many X? 5 cents to 20, let's say 5-6X right now. And I'm excited to be here because very soon, within several hours later, we're gonna launch on your exchange, right? Gate. So we don't know where it'll go, but it creates even more liquidity and whatnot. I think it is so rare for a project to be able to do so much at a launch, right? Not just IDO, not just get on one Uniswap, but also get on 2 Pancake Uniswap, launch a bridge, so it becomes a lot easier for liquidity generation and supporting lower gas fees, because we have so many supporters right now from countries like India, Southeast Asia, Vietnam. They cannot afford high gas fees, right? So we want to help them, and that's the reason why we decided to support PancakeSwap, and then and we want them to support our community. And then on top, we're doing a central exchange log. It's within the same 24 hours, so it's like tandem almost, right? So yeah, things are exciting, and that's gives you an overview of what's going on for our project right now from a token point of view.
Last but not least, to conclude our podcast, would you and your team like to deliver a message to your overwhelmingly supportive community and perhaps to future potential investors?
Well, of course, on behalf of my team here at Vera Labs, who is developing the Vera project, we're very grateful to have such global community support, and we'd love to give a shout out to anybody that really wants us to be a successful long-term project, right? We really think that if you believe NFT is going to be a big market in the future, going to be a next trillion-dollar industry, then the next big thing is you need a financial platform to enable that. And Vera, really, I talked to so many funds, investors. Vera is the first project ever to create this type of product, NFT financing, NFT renting, amongst others. There's no other project right now doing what we're doing, so it's super exciting. I would love, the community to continue to contribute by sharing your ideas, your feedback. Even though I've been in the industry since 2017, wearing many hats as an investor, as a founder, supporting many awesome early stage projects like Solana and Orchid Protocol and Hedera Hashgraph. Like, I've seen a lot of great layer 1 projects, which I personally invest and support. And I know that it is very interesting to build an NFT space because it's not a layer 1 project. NFT is highly focused on go-to-market, right? Because it represents something that the world has to have, like a real-world asset. It could be a game, it could be a physical asset. And what that means is, what type of use case do you want to see? What type of creative business can you see in the real world? Now we can use the NFT canvas to build it. And we want to support you in that journey. We want to build an ecosystem where any one of you, even yourself, Peter, you're a creator, you're a podcaster. You don't need to be an engineer, you don't need technical. Using a Vera platform in the future, you can build your dream business powered by NFTs to make yourself a bigger brand, awesome experiences for your followers, more revenue to support your passion, and not have to be taken advantage on by big tech and these big platforms. So power to you. So that's my wish to everyone here. And If you want to reach out to me, we're on Telegram, we're on Twitter, you're on Discord. We want to build a Chinese community and other language communities on Discord right now. So looking for very talented community moderators that can speak multiple languages. We're hiring all across the board. Telegram is too hard to do different languages, right? So we're really focusing on Discord. Love everyone's support. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you.
On an important note, Vera Labs has initiated its startup sale for its token, Vera, VERA, on Gate.io on September 21st, raising over 32.6 million USDT, which was a whopping 108,000% from its original goal. If you're interested in learning more about the details, the link is also down below. If you like this podcast, remember to smash that like button. And if you have any questions regarding to the project, be sure to check out the links in the description below to follow Denis Lam and Vera Labs on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord to ask them directly. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.